Electric Fire Chapter 22 What Lays in the Past.
I knew I was dreaming, but I wasn't able to wake up or take control of my own dreams. Gerald stepped in front of me where my peripheral vision could see him. He gave me a menacing grin. The scientist held me back from taking off or sucker punching him. Not that I dared to harm my own creator. If I did, then what would Maria think? She was the only one I truly cared about on that stupid arc. I didn't want to lose her trust. I chose to ignore the grin. No words were said for the moment. The scientist just led me to a table. I had to lay down on it as they started attaching something to me.
All right, he's hooked up.
One scientist spoke to Gerald, then another started telling me what I was being hooked up to.
Well, this is to see if we can make you into a living cure. We already know you are technically a living weapon, but let's see if you can actually fully accomplish your purpose.
At first, I was just confused. This was the first time I found out about why Gerald had created me. I originally thought he just wanted a companion for his granddaughter. But no, I was supposed to be more than that. I only nodded. Then I felt something on my arm, a cotton swab. It had something on it, though I watched as it was coating my fur with dampness. Then I saw Gerald holding something. It was a needle. I soon felt a pinch where the swab had been before. It hurt, but it went away within a few minutes. That was the first introduction to them.
All right, the injection is taking its course. Hopefully this will work.
Time passed, but nothing happened. The cure dissolved in my bloodstream, but nothing seemed to have occurred correctly to Gerald. The scientists looked at the screen. All of them shook their heads in disbelief. Then they all pointed at me.
You failed.
They all shouted. Then my surrounding changed. Only me and Gerald were in the room now. I could feel the hate he had. My ears were pinned against my head. He tried injecting me with the cure again and again and again, indicating the days he kept this up until he finally reached his end. No more needles at least. But things escalated. He beat me up. I never fought back though. I was a weapon. I couldn't bring myself to do him harm. Punches, kicks mostly. Before he got to punch me this time, I awoke. I backed up quickly, only to hit a wall behind me. I looked back, breathing heavily before sighing out. But then I felt a hand on my shoulder. Sonic was there beside me. I turned away from him, trying to regain my consciousness. I shook his hand off while I tried to calm down. He said nothing, mainly gave me a sad gaze. Was this real? Did Gun actually put us in a cell together? It didn't matter. At least Sonic seemed okay.
Sorry, Shadow.
He broke the silence. Well, what was of it since I was breathing heavily, still trying to get over the memory. Don't be. I'm okay. Just had a nightmare is all. Sonic still had this apologetic look.
I accidentally let off a blast of lightning earlier. I blew the cell where they kept me. I had a nightmare too, while you were in the lab. That's why I'm in this cell with you. I didn't mean to unleash my energy. I think I injured some people.
He curled up beside me.
They didn't have anywhere else to keep me for now. That's why they put me in here.
I just put my hand on his side, trying to help bring him some comfort, even if we were still in this nightmarish place. Wait, so you could have escaped before? I mean, after you woke up? He just looked up at me and nodded in response.
I stayed because I didn't want to leave you behind. You're my friend, and also the only hedgehog aside from me I know. Besides, they'd probably catch me again anyway.
It was almost as though he knew I was going to ask him why he'd stay. Did he know of my fears already? The fear of others who I feel close to, then turning their back on me like my own creator had? The feeling of being betrayed again? A loud thump brought me out of my thoughts. Sonic's ears perked up a bit. He was well alert. Then he cuddled into me. I kept one arm over him. As we both looked toward the room the sound came from. We both were afraid as someone yelled. It sounded like the commander. Sonic stayed quiet for once. Neither one of us spoke for the longest time. No other sounds came from the room. Then a sigh escaped from Sonic. It was the only thing that broke the silence. Then he sat up and stretched a bit. What were you dreaming about anyway? I mean, when you had your nightmare, Sonic? Sonic was startled by the question. He just looked at me, then tilted his head a bit.
Oh, that. Well, remember how I told you Longclaw sent me here and she didn't come along? I dreamt that I never made it to Earth. I dreamt I got captured by them before I got to Longclaw's home, and they treated me like the people in this place. Why are people so cruel? I mean, not all of them are bad like Tom and Maddie. They aren't like that.
I sighed, feeling sorry for the other hedgehog. I don't know. I used to think my creator was nice, but I was wrong. I wouldn't know why people can be so cruel. You're right though. Tom and Maddie are trustworthy. They're probably trying to find a way to get to us. Now there was a confused look on Sonic's face. I didn't actually believe that Tom and Maddie were thinking on breaking us out. I mean, they probably got tired of Sonic being around just like how my creator got tired of me, just because I wasn't able to carry a cure. I was mainly there to keep Maria company up until the raid.
Huh, you usually spoke fondly of Gerald before.
I knew now it was time to tell him the truth. Yeah, used to, back before my project became a failure. His only priority was to find a cure for Maria. He made me in hopes I could carry the cure. It's a long story. I was put through so many tests and procedures in order for him to try and change my DNA, so I'd be able to hold the cure. But nothing they did worked. The only thing it did was cause me intense pain. The only thing I wasn't a failure at was being a living weapon. I mean, I have powers similar to your own, but a little different. But anyway, the scientists did so much worse than any of the scientists here have done so far. Also, Gerald would beat me up if things didn't go his way. Only once he went a bit too far. I was out for a week. I guess he got sick of the failures after a while. I believe he got in contact with someone, and well, he let the raid happen. He left me to try and get his granddaughter to safety, but I wasn't able to get her to the escape pods in time before she got shot. She took a bullet that was aimed toward me. It hit her in the back. She still had enough strength to push me into the pod and push a button near the entryway into the pod. The door closed quickly as she turned back to face the soldiers. Then she collapsed. She spoke before the doors closed. She wanted me to let others be happy. She didn't want me to go on a revenge spree. I don't know if I told you this, but after I crash landed, I awoke a bit. No idea on what time it was or where it was, but I wasn't able to get up and run. I just laid there on the ground. I saw lights in the distance and heard barking dogs, and everything went black again. I believe I let Gerald down. I highly doubt he didn't go looking for me after the raid. I feel as though he got what he wanted, which was for me to be out of his life. I ruined his life's work. For that, he disowned me. I wasn't family to him, only a failed experiment that needed to be destroyed. Sonic just politely stayed, where he looked unsure on how to answer, as I now told him all about my past. I kinda wish there was a window where we were being kept in. It would have been kinda nice to look out at the scenery outside, instead of a steel wall. Sonic just gave me an apologetic look. He stayed silent again for quite a while. Even I couldn't think of anything to say to try and comfort him. We were safe for the moment, until the scientists entered the room. I knew it was me they wanted. I could tell by their stares. They weren't interested in Sonic. Sonic went to my side again, trying to hide. I felt bad that I'd have to leave him to go back in that stupid lab for more tests, or maybe worse this time. Sure, it wasn't nearly as bad as the space colony arc, but then something happened. Okay, it was a mix of horrible, but it was also amazing at the same time.